Okay, here's a quick little video on how to set up compression for videos to work in BIS system. A good place to start is this program called HandBrake. That's a free open source video transcoder. It works really well for a free piece of software. So if you download this, it works on, I think it's only Windows, so I know it's got Mac as well. So if you download this, I'll open it up here. Where did I put it? It looks like this here. So when you open it up, it'll ask you to import a clip. You can import a whole folder or just an individual file. I have a file here. I'll show you how. You can just quickly drag and drop it. It'll scan it and bring it up. As for the settings, for what we use in the system is MP4, which I think by default it switches to MP4, but make sure it says MP4 here. Everything else you can leave the same here. Under dimensions, we go down to, instead of 1920 by 1080, we go to 1280 by 720. In terms of dimensions, it reduces the size of the clip as well, as it's easier to load on slower machines, and it's also easier to work on people with a little bit slower internet connection. Another thing as well is sometimes this program analyzes the black in the video and tries to crop it out, which we want to remove that as well. So go to customs here, and if you see any numbers in here, just zero them out. So it doesn't try to crop any of the black bars out. After that, we'll go down to filters. We can leave this all the same. Make sure most of the stuff's off. This by default is okay. Under video here, we want to make sure this is H.264. By default, it should be this, but just make sure it's this top one here. Under frame rate, we want to change it from 30 to 2997. That's the video standard. And also change it to constant frame rate. We don't want to worry about peak. We want it to be the same frame rate throughout. Over in quality over here, the bit rate we use is, so if you go to average bit rate, we change this to 1800 kilobits per second. We find that's a good one for slower internet connections. It reduces the quality of the video a bit, but it kind of guarantees that it should work on most machines playing back on the system. Under optimize video here, this is really a preference here. The faster it is, you can change this to faster, and it will encode a lot faster. It won't take as long, but the quality of it will be lower. So the faster you go, the lower the quality of the video will be. If you go slow, it'll take a lot longer to compress, but it'll do a better job with the compression, and the video will come out nicer and crisper. I usually do it around fast or medium. It's probably a good place to start. And if you notice that it is really looking really blocky and compressed, then you can try bring it down slower. But I'll stay at it fast for now. Under these, you can just leave these all the same. Main, profile, and 4.0 is great. Under audio here, we can leave this by default. It adds a audio AAC track, and that's fine. Just leave that all the same. Bitrate 160 is great. Subtitles, don't worry about that. Chapters, don't worry about that. And then once you're done here, by default it changes to M4V. I'm not quite sure why, but MP4, that's kind of the standard here. They're kind of the same format, but we want it to be in an MP4 tag at the end here. And then once that is done, and then you can set your destination, so you can browse to where you'd like to save it, and then just hit start encode here. And I'll pause it while that finishes. So as you can see here, that this video is now compressed. It still looks really good. It's still nice and clean. And you can see here that the original video was, and I'll open this up here, that it was 165 megabytes, and we've compressed it down to 34 megabytes. And if you open it up in this media info here, kind of you can see that this was a 10 megabit compression here, and we've brought it down to 1800 at 720 here. But it still looks really great, and it'll play a lot better in the system. And I'll show you this if you have the Adobe Suite, which is what we use here. This is a program called Media Encoder, which comes with Adobe Suite and Premiere and After Effects. And I'll show you a quick, very similar compression that you do in here. So same kind of interface. You just drag a clip in here. It opens it up. On the left here, you choose the the format here, which is H.264, which is the same as MP4. Choose H.264, and then in here you can just click in. I have some presets in here, but I'll kind of show you from. It'll probably be on match source high bitrate here, as by default is usually what it is. So when you open this up here, you'll see that there's video here. So what we want to do is uncheck this so we can modify it and change this to 1280. And it should automatically update the lower one to match the dimensions. I make sure this is 2997, just like in the other one. Progressive, and then square pixels. Make sure this is main, and then either 4 or 4.1. I'll automatically change this, so keep this 29. So yeah, if you change that profile there, it might update some of the stuff up here. But yeah, make sure that's 2997, main 4.0, and then here's where you choose the compression or the bitrate here, which is what that 1800 is. So what I usually do is do constant bitrate, and it's rounded up to megabytes or megabits per second. Still a kilobit, so 1.8 is the same as 1800 kilobits, just like in the HandBrake there. And then under audio, we can change this to the 320. Doesn't need to be that high. You can go 160 or 128, which also saves on some time, space, and it'll be better on bandwidth. And we can even change this to 4100 sample rate. And you can see that it's going to come out with about the same file size. And then you can pick your destination, which I'll pick here. I'll save it, and then you hit OK, and then you just hit this little play button here, and then it will go. As you can see, this is the video that was compressed out, and it's 34 megabytes. 34, so it's almost identical to the one that was produced by HandBrake. But yeah, if you don't have Adobe Suite Me Encoder, HandBrake is a great option. It will be perfect for compressing any videos you need for the BIS system. Thanks.